Okay. Okay. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Crimson Skies, and welcome to another new player's guide video. I don't particularly know what I'm going to call this one, to be honest. But one thing is, okay, APB rewards players who are prepared. Okay? APB rewards players who are prepared. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, so I kind of touched on these subjects on my last video, but doing missions. But that was just kind of solve, like, kind of to finish off the mission tutorial to get the basic uh, tutorial done so that you can get the permanent weapon. This one, we're going to dive more into things like equipment, um, sort of roles, kind of uh, maybe like weapons in terms of kind of general, like when you should use what kind of weapon, and it maybe try to give you a better concept on what you as a new player would kind of want to focus on to try and kind of just make progress in this game, I guess, right? So the first thing we're going to go over is equipment. So I kind of briefly went over it during the missions. We're in a social district. It's just for the sake of it. There's no real purpose behind it. But when we open up J, we go to roles, and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see you have these ones down here, right? Arsonist, bomber, burglar, mugger, savior, okay, graffiti artist, and black hat. These are based on, except for savior. Savior is where like you free players who got arrested, but it's kind of the same concept. You can get equipment for it, so you get faster at doing it. And that's kind of the thing. As you play missions, you're going to slowly make progress on these. Okay, it's almost better just to buy them off the player market. They're not too expensive on the player market. We'll go there soon. But basically, doing this will unlock equipment to be able to accomplish those tasks faster. Right? Will be to accomplish those tasks faster. Now, something that I've noticed is that when you go to the Joker store, they don't have the ability to rent equipment at all. Right? You can get permanent 3-slot weapons. You can rent weapon mods and character mods. You can rent like all sorts of stuff, but you can't rent equipment, which means the only way to be able to get it early on is either through friends in the game, getting involved in some of the communities in the game, or by buying it off of the player market. Now, I mention this because one thing I kind of pushed was kind of focusing getting Joker tickets. Okay? So what you could do to kind of maybe like get kind of like for long term planning is you can probably save up your Joker tickets to explicitly get your weapons, right? To kind of get your first permanent 3-slot weapon, to maybe rent tier 3 mods, stuff like that, while you save your money to try and kind of collect tier 4 equipment. Because once again, this game rewards player preparation. Even if you have bad guns, if you have like a level 4 equipment piece, so we come down here, we go to equipment upgrades, we search. If you manage to get any of these level 4 stuff, this is going to allow you to accomplish tasks really, really, really fast. So you could be sort of like the designated. You can try to like sneak onto the objective and kind of get it done real quick or anything like that. This will massively help you in terms of kind of pushing through missions and trying to make things happen faster. The nice thing about these is that the rank you need to be able to equip tier 4 equipment mods is only rank 30. So like I said, kind of how what should you focus on? How should you kind of play this game? What should you be focused? What should you be grinding? One thing to probably do, maybe try to get all of the early level, like the low level contacts done as fast as you can. Wrap up all the easy ones. Kind of slowly expand out to the bigger ones. Maybe then you can start getting picky and deciding which ones you want to progress to maybe get the uh, character mods they might have, or some of the customization options they might have, or vehicles that they might unlock, or some preset weapons that they might unlock. But super early on, you should probably try to just sprint your character rank up to level 30 and just get all the low level ones done first and foremost to try and get up there. Then this opens up the ability to get level 4 equipment. Now, like I said, there's not a whole lot to say about these, but they are super important to being able to push through missions. You can kind of probably ninja it pretty easy. There's all sorts of stuff, right? There's all sorts of stuff, and something that really I noticed when looking through the tutorial is that it doesn't mention equipment at all. So unless you're actively looking for it, or maybe someone tells you about it, uh, or you just so happen to maybe upgrade one of these roles, right? And then you're like, oh, what's that role? Then you look into it and you go, oh, cool. There's nothing that really pushes you towards this. There's nothing that really tells you about equipment. Okay, and even as a R44 brand new free to play account, okay, you get 3 equipment slots to be able to use. So once again, it's all about being prepared. The game rewards people who kind of stop real quick, takes a look at the mission, goes, okay, I'm going to need this, this, and this, and then they kind of sit there and switch out to what they're going to need for the mission. Same as your character mods, but of course, Super and R44, I haven't unlocked these yet, so I don't have character mods to even play with. And as a free-to-play account, I don't have anything quite yet that can utilize mods. But that's kind of another thing I wanted to go on to. Okay, so we're kind of done with equipment. We're going to go on to sort of the weapon rules. So rifleman, marksman, gunslinger, all these. Okay. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. Okay, there's 2 ways you can do this. One is you can choose a role you want to grind out as fast as you can. Right? You pick, say for me, right? I picked rifleman. I stuck with the Star 556 for a while. I got really frustrated. I switched over to the NTech. I've been having a much better time with the NTech. Okay, now the reason for it is that at rifleman rank 3, you get you get hunting site 1. At rifleman rank 5, which I'm almost there, at rifleman rank 5, you unlock one slot versions of the Star 556 and NTech. So once again, if you don't have if you're not grinding out Joker tickets super quick, if you're not doing Fight Club or there's just not enough people to be able to do something like that, you can kind of sit down and choose a speed run one real quick to try to get better guns to be able to take advantage of and use the level 3 weapon mods that you can get in the Joker store, which you can rent for like 30 days for 500 Joker tickets? Let me look real quick. We'll just go mods. We'll go with like hunting site 3. 460. So once again, you can save your money to try to get equipment, use your Joker tickets to get your mods, and then maybe grind out specific roles to try and get weapons that can utilize those mods. Once again, there's all sorts of different things you can do. Maybe you just want to save all of your Joker tickets until you can finally purchase a 3-slot weapon permanently, which is something I also highly recommend you maybe do, is you probably just want to sit there and save up enough. Let's say you want to save up for you could go scout, right? Oh yeah, the ISSR. These things are crazy. They're like 4-shot kill guns. They're kind of high skill though. You kind of need to be able to use it. But 8,500 Joker tickets to get it permanent. Ooh, that'll take a minute, but you can probably do it if you, like I said, if you focus the Joker ticket stuff and try to grind it out. But weapon rolls are really important. Okay, and something that's really cool about APB is that its combat encourages you to switch between weapons. Okay, depending on the environment in which the mission is, you may want to use an Oka or a shotgun if it's like in hallways and stuff like that. Maybe it's in a big wide open area, so you switch over to an Obeya or an NHVR to get to the snipers, or you choose something like an NTech, which is fairly capable and medium range engagements. You just try to make sure you stay within your effective range of the gun. So the game does encourage you to try to slowly grind up all of these. And to be honest, I think that's not a terrible idea because because of course being versatile is really really important in APB. So being able to switch to what you need is something you should always kind of try to do. Always kind of maybe learn 3 weapons: a close quarters weapon, something that can handle medium range, and then something that can handle long range, right? Or okay, well I think that's the way to do it, right? Get something close quarters, get something medium, get something long. So let's say as a new player, so I've been rocking the rifleman. Like I said, I've been slowly focusing that. I've been trying to speed run to this. But you could do something for like shotgun for close quarters. So you're slowly grinding out pointmen. You get an Obeya Series M62 to handle your medium range stuff. So you're kind of getting your marksman stuff up, and then you pull out an NH for your long range stuff. So you uh, can kind of get this stuff. Now the other thing that's important to note with roles is with weapon roles in particular is that it doesn't just unlock um, like mod slotted weapons, but it also unlocks specific mods tailored to that role. So we're going to use Rifleman for example. Okay, Rifleman unlocks the hunting sight mod. Pointman unlocks the reflex sight mod. I believe Marksman unlocks improved rifling. And this is why we're not going to go over all of them, okay? Because I kind of don't remember all of them. But that's that's how it's supposed to play out, right? As you slowly improve these roles, as you're kind of trying to be versatile, as you're slowly increasing everything, you're going to be able to get uh, better better mods unlocked. You're going to be able to get better weapons unlocked to be able to use those mods. And as you're doing this, you're slowly making money. You can use it to maybe purchase something off the player market. Maybe you got some friends who can hook you up with equipment or weapon mods, and then you can save up your Joker tickets to try and get like permanent weapons and stuff. There's a lot to do, okay? And it's all about learning. Well, it's all about sort of. See, that's the thing. I don't really know what this video was supposed to be about. Just maybe going more in depth in that kind of stuff, kind of wanting to recognize when to use what weapons and whatnot. So let me go to. Well, I don't know if there's a reason for me to do it because I've kind of gone over the roles. I've gone over equipment. I've gone over. That's kind of it, right? What else would I want to talk about? Damage drop off and stuff like that, like weapons and the damage drop off. But that, I mean, you can kind of learn that by playing, but we can. No, that's kind of it. That's it. That's all I got for the video. Um, so, yeah. Make sure you're kind of always kind of planning what you want to unlock. Make sure you're always kind of understanding what you would want to do. So something is maybe equipment. What would you want to get for equipment first and foremost? Well, some of the most popular stuff as a criminal, and this is important, depending on your faction, depends on what you're going to want. Will depend on what kind of equipment you can get. But as a criminal, some really popular ones is like breaking into doors, so you can get the crowbar to break into doors faster. Spray paint's really good too, to be able to spray paint really quick. A real big pain in the ass, actually. One of the slowest ones to accomplish. Let me see if I can find one. Oh, it's not even. There's not even an option for one. That's crazy. So I'll show you. One of the ones that really suck. One of the ones that really suck because the objective is exposed. Okay, the objective is exposed. It's a really, really long timer. I think it's like the longest one out of all of the objectives to do. It's hacking. The black hat one for criminals, and I think it's white hat for enforcers. Is the hacking one. This one, if you want to just kind of not deal with hacking at all, this is probably the one you'd want to go for. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of selection on the player market. The player market is not very competitive from the looks of it. I need to start unlocking stuff so I can sell on this because my goodness, I could rake in money, baby. Because holy cow, the equipment selection is kind of lackluster, huh? Not one hacking one. That's crazy. I mean, bomb defusals. That's a really important one. Camera one's also pretty important. But I mean, like I said, well, they're all important, right? Obviously, they're all important. But you see how this one's a rammer? This is not for criminals. This is for enforcer. It says it right here. Super important stuff. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff you kind of want to work towards as a new player. It can be kind of overwhelming. But of course, that's probably why they don't even tell you about equipment. That's probably why it's not even mentioned in the tutorial anywhere. To try to keep things simple. Maybe you just want to focus on your weapons and unlock your weapons. But it's always important to try to make sure that you can get your objectives done easy. If you are having difficulty with the combat side of things, maybe focusing on being a support player and trying to getting objectives done and helping your team push the mission forward could be something you can do, right? Uh, like I said, APB rewards preparation. APB wants you to play this game relatively smart. Okay, relatively smart. And there's a lot of tools at your disposal. There's a lot of tools at your disposal. A lot of ways to do it. The expansion of the Joker ticket system, to be honest, is kind of awesome. Um, and because of it, you can probably just use your Joker tickets to get weapon mods, to rent weapon mods while you get equipment, right? Because equipment's cheaper. Maybe you don't need to get all of the equipment. You can probably just get like maybe two or three of the more popular ones, which would be like the crowbar to breaking in. Um, I'd probably say the spray paint, and then get like the Slim Jim for breaking into cars, and then you'd probably be pretty good for a good portion of your missions. But or you could go for the more difficult ones, right? The ones that take longer that you probably would want to speed up. So, for example, the hacking, the black hat, bomb defusal can always take a hot minute. Well, not the bomb diffuser, but like just planting a bomb can take a hot minute. So like I said, there's a lot to kind of look towards. There's a lot to kind of do. Play your missions. Pay attention to what kind of missions you're doing a lot, right? And that could probably help you decide where you'd want to focus your efforts in terms of getting equipment, in terms of how do you want to spend your kind of minimal resources early on in the game on what to do. Maybe you don't want to use your Joker tickets to rent weapon mods. Maybe you just want to use it to get weapon mods with your money, and then you save your Joker tickets for a permanent 3-slot gun. There's all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of different ways. You can always kind of think about it, but understanding that everything that is available in the game, I think is really important. And then just kind of leaving it up to you to decide how you'd like to kind of progress, kind of to help you understand everything that's going on in this game. I have literally nothing else to say. That was kind of it. I just wanted to talk about equipment in the weapon rules. So that's it, guys. I think I'm done. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Peace. 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 Peace.